Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Zach here. It was reported that Friday, October 21st, 2016, Bill Murray got to meet with President Obama at the White House, then got to go before the press at the White House and give a spiel on why the Cubs were going to advance to the World Series in Game 6 over Clayton Kershaw, which did happen. In case you've never seen any of my work before, I called the Cubs in the World Series in spring training. Last year, I called the Mets in the World Series in spring training. In this same sports season, I also called the Cavs over the Warriors for the NBA Finals this year. I said Cavs would win it before the season began. I said it would be Cavs Warriors last November. Last October, I said the Denver Broncos would win the Super Bowl. By November, I said it would be Broncos over Carolina Panthers. There'd be a Black Panther tribute, and Von Miller would be the MVP. All of these predictions have been correct. I don't think anyone in the recorded history, has ever called all three of the major sports championships in a single year. If the Cubs finish up and win the World Series, I will have done that. And how did I do it? By understanding how sports are scripted. So what I'm going to show you in this video is the parallels between Bill Murray, the Chicago Cubs, the curse of the Billy Goat, connected to Billy Sianis, Bill Murray, Billy Sianis. And I'm also going to show you the greater parallels between Bill Murray, President Obama, and professional athletes. That parallel is they're all actors. They're all agents. They're all involved in deceiving the masses. So if you doubt that, stay tuned. Let's get into it. Bill Murray, when he went before the White House press, some of his jokes he tailored towards the president. The president has Chicago connections, but he's a Chicago White Sox fan. The Chicago Cubs are going to the World Series for the first time since '45. In spring training, I pointed out how Obama has Chicago connections, Hillary has Chicago connections, and the Cubs going to the World Series, which are Hillary's favorite team, would be a major parallel to our rigged and scripted political system. So anyway, the date Bill Murray did this, October 21st, 16, a date with 47 numerology, the word president 47, authority 47, obey 47. We saw number 47 on the Cubs 47 days before what will be Game 7 of the World Series hit that walk-off home run. I documented the significance of that, number 47 hitting the walk-off 47 days from what will be Game 7, which I'm almost certain this World Series will go to. This is the 112th World Series, and they scheduled Game 7, if need be, for November 2nd, 11/2. Last year, the 111th World Series ended on 11/1. But anyway, Bill Murray did this at the White House after meeting with the president on a date with 47 numerology. Show you something about the name Bill Murray. Bill Murray in gematria, simple English, sums to 131, like championship, like Super Bowl, like 57 when you write it out. 57's the World Series number. Again, last year, 57 days after the World Series, Dave Henderson dropped dead at age 57. The name Henderson equals 57. The last team he played for were the Kansas City Royals, who won the World Series last year. So see how Bill Murray fits in? That's just part of the reason. The name Murray in gematria sums to 33. 33. Think about the Chicago Cubs, the CC, see the third letter? Now it's going to be Cubs versus Cleveland Indians. Cleveland, the only city that sums to 33. The word Indian, the singular 33. First pitcher for the Indians in Game 1 is Miller. Miller, 33. See what the Chicago Cubs do against Miller in Game 1. Bill Murray also starred in the movie Groundhog's Day, which is February 2nd, the 33rd day of the year. Did you know that February 2nd is the only day on the calendar year where you write it out and it sums to 156, just like the word 33? 33, 33rd day of the year, Bill Murray, the main actor in that movie. Groundhog's Day, about the same thing happening again and again. It's true in a lot of things in this world. Scripted news, scripted sports, similar cycles again and again, sex scandals, same teams winning, same teams losing. I know Cleveland Browns fans hear me. So anyway, Bill Murray, he's currently 66 years old. 66. The word curse has gematria of 66. World Series has a gematria connection to 66 as well. Bill Murray's 66. He was saying the Cubs were going to break the curse, which they now have done. I've been saying all year they're going to break the curse. I started saying it last year at the end of last season. Saw the pattern. So look at this. The name Bill Murray the small way sums to 50, like Billy Sianis, who the curse of the Billy Goats named after, that was the curse on the Cubs from the 1945 World Series. Bill Murray, Billy Sianis, 50. The Cubs just won Game 6, 5-0. 5-0. America equals 50, just like the 50 states. When you write out 50 as a word, it sums back to 66. You know? Bill Murray, born in the year 50, currently 66, at the White House to break the curse. With regards to his date of birth, 9 plus 21 is 30, plus 19 more is 49, plus 50 is 99. Remember, Illinois in gematria equals 99. The Cubs and Indians have played each other 18 times total, and they're 9-9 against each other. Both teams have won and lost 9 games. 9-9. Baseball, the small way, equals 18. In the movie Major League equals 108. The Cubs going to break the 108-year curse since they won the World Series. 1945, the last time they were in a World Series. 1908, 108 years ago, the last time they won. Anyway, that movie Major League came out in 1989, 27 years ago. MLB equals 27, 27 outs per team. In that movie, Charlie Sheen's character, Wild Thing, wears the number 99. Now, the Indians and Cubs, who are 9-9 against each other, are going to be playing each other in the World Series. Think about this also. Chicago's trying to break the curse against the Cleveland team, where the Cleveland Cavs just broke the city curse this past June on the real King James's birthday, June 19th, the one the Bible's named after. That's the day King James, LeBron James, and the Cavs won. And King James, his son, is what Cavaliers are named after. Cleveland Cavaliers. We were just talking about how he has birth numerology of 99. When you write out the word 13, it sums to 99, just like Illinois equals 99. LeBron just won in his 13th season. So anyway, Cubs, chance to break the curse against Cleveland, who broke a curse earlier this year. And let's not forget that when Cleveland's basketball team was in the playoffs, their baseball team was playing the exact same teams or the exact same cities that the Cleveland basketball team was. You see? Like when Cleveland Cavaliers were playing Toronto, the Indians were playing the Toronto Blue Jays. And think about that. Cleveland Cavs, Cleveland Toronto NBA Eastern Conference Finals. Think about how Toronto and Cleveland were the baseball finals. So anyway, Bill Murray, his date of birth, it's also a date with 66 his most recent birthday this year was also a date with 66 numerology. He turned 66 on a date with 66 numerology connected to Curse and World Series. It was also a date with 46 numerology. The date of Game 6, Billy Sianis, it was the 46-year anniversary of his death. Chicago Cubs equals 46. Chicago equals 46. When you write out 46, it equals 46. No-hitter equals 46. Jacob Arrieta got the first no-hitter of the season 46 days after his birthday on the 112th day of the year. This is the season of the 112th World Series. Here's some more. His full birth name is William James Murray, gematria of 223. Just like Curse of the Billy Goat, the curse that he said they were going to break, he called it perfectly. We Got Detroit's Goat was the motto from the Curse of the Billy Goat, 223, and that's the number given to the synagogue of Satan from the 66th book of the Bible, Revelation, the book about the end times and destruction, book of prophecy. It says the false Jews will rule in the end times. They're known as the synagogue of Satan. The same day that happened, that Bill Murray did that, Wall Street Journal put out this article about how the Cubs are the team of the Jews. Not a coincidence. Here's Bill Murray's birth numerology. Perfect for Illinois. Illinois is 99 the big way, 45 the small way, 27 like MLB. The day Bill Murray gave this address October 21st, it's also the day that leaves 71 days left in the year. I can't believe I forgot to put that up here too. I got to show you this, Truth Seeker. When you write out the word 71 in gematria, it sums to 144. 71 equals 144, just like 44, just like Kyle Hendricks. Kyle Hendricks is who pitched in Game 6, came out after his 88th pitch. It's been 71 years since the Cubs went to the World Series. Bill Murray given this address on the day that leaves 71 days left in the year, 1945 to 2016, 71 years. Oh, 71 is up there. Sometimes I can't even see what's right before my own eyes. But anyway, think about it. Tribute to Obama, the 44th president. 71 years in the making. Kyle Hendricks on the mound. 144 is the number for time. The square root of 144 is 12. Think about 12 months in the year, 12 hours in the morning and the evening. Each day there's 1,440 minutes, 1440 time. We talked about how Bill Murray was there giving this address on the date with 47 numerology. Again, president equals 47. The word time also has the connection to 47. I live up here in Seattle. The most famous landmark, the Space Needle, it has a rotating restaurant that does a full rotation, 360 degrees, every 47 minutes. Seattle's on the 47th parallel. Tribute to time. It's the Freemasons that work by these numbers. Freemasonry, very much into numerology, gematria. Freemasons that established this nation, built this language. It's the reason all of this is so that I'm able to show you. The day the Cubs won the World Series, date was 68 numerology, Barack Obama equals 68. You know, going to the World Series, Obama's last year in office, last day January 20th. Not a coincidence. Here's the Wall Street Journal article, Cubs, the team of the Jews. Here's the picture from 1945. We got Detroit's GOAT. You know, for those of you who follow my work, think about how much more clear this image is than so many of the recent photos we get in propaganda in the media. They want to show us some scary killer, shooter, bomber, and they put out this grainy, pixelated image that could look like anybody. You know, in the age of HD cameras everywhere, just a reminder of what photos look like in 1945. A lot more clear than most of the propaganda you get in the media. News stories contrived by the numbers the same way sports are rigged by them because it's all a Freemason circus. But anyway, here's that photo. We got Detroit's GOAT, 223. Look at the name Billy Sianis, Truth Seeker. We talked about how Bill Murray equaled 131 and 50. Billy Sianis equals 50 and 131 as well. Bill Murray, Billy. You see how they do this? It's just all actors, and all these actors work for the same game. That's why all these people are paid so much money to keep their lies, you know, their part in the agenda on the hush. It's amazing how some people think all of this is a coincidence, you know? Bill Murray's full name, 223. Masonic 223. Again, it's the Freemasons. The name of the GOAT was Murphy, Murphy 38. Kind of sounds like Murray too, you know, Murphy, Murray. Murphy was the name of the GOAT, connected to the curse of the Billy Goat. 162 game season in Major League Baseball. Major League 108. In my preview video, I said, watch, when the Cubs go to the World Series, number 54 is going to be on the mound closing it out. And he was, you know. Number 54, the baseball number. 112th World Series, Zionist equals 112, which is what the Jewish faith is for the most part in this world. Zionist Jews. The false Jews, like the 66th book says. Current mayor in Israel is Ram Israel Emanuel. Did I say current mayor in Israel? Chicago is like little Israel. Current mayor in Chicago is Ram Israel Emanuel. Israel was established with a 33-member vote November 29th, 1947. 47, we talked about that. Ram Israel Emanuel, born 12 years later, November 29th, 1959. Here's Billy Sianis, died October 22nd, 1970. If you are watching Game 6, just before Kyle Hendricks' 88th pitch, they had the TV crew do a little story on Billy Sianis, the man connected to the curse, and how he had died exactly 46 years ago to the day. And as they do this, there's no stat on the screen that shows you that Chicago equals 46, Chicago Cubs equals 46, all this stuff equals 46, but they're telling you, Billy Sianis died 46 years ago today. And then 10 minutes later, the Cubs are in the World Series for the first time since 1945. The story of Billy Sianis. By the way, 45, Illinois equals 45, Wrigley equals 45, Cubs equals 45, even Bears equals 45, the football team. You could say they're cursed too. But this is how they mock you. And if you think that all of this stuff is happening organically, you need to take my knowledge and watch sports and see just how unorganic and how scripted this is. To have Kyle Hendricks come out just before his 88th pitch, or to have this speech just before Kyle Hendricks comes out on his 88th pitch, I'll show you what's up with that if you don't know already. Real quick, NCLS has Gematria 48. The day they won the National League Championship Series, a date with 48 numerology. Steve Bartman was supposedly sitting in row 4, aisle 8, something like that. We'll get to that. We'll talk about Steve Bartman in a moment. But look at this. I want to show you some things from the box score. Again, Billy Sianis, Bill Murray 50, America 50. Cubs win 5-0. The Cubs won their games 8-4, 10-2, 8-4, 5-0. United States of America equals 84 and 102. America equals 50. Cubs win 8-4, 102, 8-4. By the way, Obama equals 84. His birthday's August 4th. Hillary's birth numerology is 102. She started her campaign on the 102nd day of the year. Think about it. And just think about my work. I mean, in spring training, I said this is what was going to happen, and now here it is, all unfolding by the numbers that I've been educating about for going on 3 years. How anyone can come here and say this is a coincidence, I mean, it's just pathetic. Anyone who thinks this work's pathetic, people in your life that you share it to, you can know that that person's pathetic. This work is a litmus test to see who is a brain-dead moron. Anyone who thinks this is a coincidence, and I know a lot of people do, but what I also know is the United States of America is mostly filled with brain-dead morons who have no thinking capacity, who just know how to follow what's on the TV. That's all they know how to believe in and trust in, which is really pathetic. So I'll show you something here about this pitching. Notice the Cubs had 103 pitches on the game. Again, the Cubs won 103 games this season. Billy Goat equals 103. Jacob Arrieta, their pitcher, equals 103. Who's from Farmington, which equals 54 like baseball. And also, what am I saying about them farming athletes? Jacob Arrieta, born and bred and named to be. His name Jacob Arrieta equals 49. Where's the number 49? Like so many athletes wearing the same number that matches with their name gematria. Because there's a lot of athletes getting farmed. But anyway, look at this. Hendricks comes out after his 88th pitch. Now remember, his name equals 144. Just like when you write out 71, the number for time. In Back to the Future, which talks about the Cubs winning the World Series, Back to the Future predicted they would win last season, a year off. But remember, in Back to the Future, sometimes when they time traveled, they were just barely off. Maybe a clue. Anyway, 88. Used in Back to the Future for when they time travel. They hit 88 miles per hour, they travel in time. Why 88? Think about what the number 8 looks like. Turn it on its side, it's infinity, the loop, endless cycle, like time, a pattern. So you're bringing out this pitcher with the name gematria appropriate for time after his 88th pitch, and literally it was between his 87th and 88th pitch where they went on the spiel about Billy Sianis dying 46 years ago to the day. It's because it's all scripted, people. It's so in your face. Here he is coming off the mound. Pitch count 88. Something else that's funny, this game lasted exactly 156 minutes. Remember, 156, the number connected to 33. February 2nd, Groundhog's Day, Bill Murray. I want to take you back 13 years ago. When you write out 13, it sums to 45 and 99, just like Illinois. 13 years ago was 2003 when the Cubs lost in the National League Championship Series after the Steve Bartman incident against the Miami Marlins. And in Back to the Future, the Cubs end up winning the World Series over the Miami team. And think about the Indians and the Miami. They got history in the World Series too. I got to look at the movie Rookie of the Year. That's the one I haven't checked out. But check this out. The Cubs are going to the 112th World Series. This is what was shown on the TV screen just before the Steve Bartman incident. The pitch count was 112. The next pitch, the 113th pitch, ended up with the Steve Bartman incident. And what I'm about to show you is a little bit of a mind bender. I don't know how this was orchestrated, but it seems that it was. Check this out. The 113th pitch became known as the Steve Bartman incident. We're going to talk about the seat he was in regards to the 113th pitch. Look how this article emphasizes Bartman seat. Bartman seat equals 33, like Game 6. This happened in Game 6 13 years ago. This time the Cubs advance in Game 6 13 years later. But look at this. They said he was in aisle 4, row 8, seat 113. On the 113th pitch, supposedly the man in seat 113 caught the foul ball. Now, as for this, was this guy really in seat 113? I'm about to show you how they stage groups of people at sports games. I've shown this before. Imagine that if they had a whole group of staged people in that section, maybe even 30 seats, all paid for. Who knows if Steve Bartman was really in number 113? But we know why they said 113. It's the number they love to code into their propaganda. Mainstream and dishonest equals 113. Here's what's possible. These guys are professional players. A lot of people who aren't professionals are very good hitters and can hit the ball pretty much wherever they want, even fouling it off into an area. But fouling it to an exact seat, that's hard to imagine. But fouling it to an area, kind of like a putting green, maybe like a section of fans in an area. I mean, it was right at the wall. So this is what I mean. It's a little bit of a mind bender how they pulled this off. But look, there's a lot of good baseball hitters who can hit the ball where they want. You're looking at one. As a child in batting practice, I could hit the ball off first base and third base all day in batting practice. I could put the ball where I wanted. But ask me to foul it to an exact seat, that's a little more difficult. But to put it in the area, not as difficult. These guys are professional men. This is what they practice. Is it possible that they rehearse this moment? I wouldn't put it past them. Somehow, though, this truly was orchestrated. People on my blog are already writing, perhaps they have some way of remote control the ball. It's mind-bending. I don't know, but there's some way they put this together. Let me show you the rest of this. The name Steve Bartman in gematria sums to 41. Very likely that there's no such thing as Steve Bartman. He was just the made-up character for this made-up story that they now use, seldomly in the media. Steve Bartman equaling 41 is interesting because 41 is the 13th prime number, and now it's 13 years later that the Cubs are going to the World Series after being so close. If you don't know this story, it was a foul ball hit right to the wall that the fan grabbed, whereas what player was it? Moises Alou? I can't even remember what player it was for sure for the Cubs. But because the fan grabbed it and the Cub didn't get it, the game didn't end. Had the Cub caught the ball, they would have won. They would have went to the World Series. So Steve Bartman, hated for that. Supposedly he was in seat 113, aisle 4, row 8. Now we talked about what 48 has to do with the National League Championship Series and the date the Cubs advanced on this year. Date with 48 numerology. You see how they coded all this up? The date that happened was October 14th, 2003, a date with 47 numerology. 27 as well, familiar numbers, right? The name Steve also sums to 71. Steve Bartman, Steve the Big Way, 71. Now here the Cubs are breaking the 71-year curse. The World Series begins this year, October 25th, 2016. That's a date with 71 numerology. 10 plus 25 plus 20 plus 16, 71. That's also the same day the NBA season begins, and it's the 71st NBA season. I bet you anything when the Eastern Conference Finals roll around in the NBA, we'll see the Cavs and guess who else? The Bulls, Chicago. I bet you we're going to see Cleveland, Chicago again in another championship, the Eastern Conference Championship. Dwayne Wade, LeBron's former teammate, returning to his home city, Chicago, participating in that shooting hoax where his supposed sister who died, her name equals 71. But anyway, we're talking about Steve Bartman incident, how suspicious it is. This one's a mystery to me. How did they pull this off? I have no doubt that they scripted this way, but how did they do it? So anyway, check this out. Here's a section of fans that are likely plants, paid for, dressed in costume to be there, to hold up a sign, to get on TV. This is in the top of the ninth. Cubs are just about to advance to the World Series. The TV crew goes to this shot right here. Cubs fans, look at the Cubs hat, 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 the Colts hat. Why has this guy got a Colts hat on? Who's been telling you that there's a narrative for the Colts to make it to Super Bowl 51? And I haven't gone off that narrative even when they were down 2-4 or 1-3. I said it's all scripted. Look at this. Here's what's up with this. Why is this Colts hat here? Well, it has a connection to 112. This is the 112th World Series. Their symbol is the horseshoe. Horseshoe equals 112. Andrew Luck, their star quarterback, the highest paid athlete in the NFL. Andrew Luck, 112. His mother's name, 112. Don't forget that Andrew Luck played his high school ball in Houston, where the Super Bowl is this year, 112. His father was the QB for the Houston Oilers. He played his high school ball in Houston. 112, 112th World Series, Colts hat stuck in there. They like to give us the predictive programming. And don't be surprised at all if the Colts sneak into the Super Bowl this year. They play in the worst division in football. 9 weeks left in the season. Keep your eyes open. I'm going to do another video because this one's getting too long. I'm going to show you what this man's death has to do with the World Series. Comic book writer. As I say, there's always ritual sacrifice in sports. He died at age 54, the baseball number, the day of. It's amazing how much is coded in. This will be the next video I put out, the death of Steve Dillon, the date the Cubs went to the World Series. And you might have heard about these 13 dead on the tour bus crash. This is another hoax story. Oftentimes, there are bogus traffic accident reporting stories that are tributes and coded riddles for professional sports. You're looking at one right here. Cubs just advanced from the team in LA. LA equals 13. Next thing you know, 13 dead in a tour bus crash. Tour bus crash in gematria sums to 66, We were just talking about that. The crash happened at the 317th minute of the day, the 66th prime. Anyway, I'll do some separate videos on this, but there's a lot going on that's connected to the World Series, that's propaganda, bogus related, just like there always is in the media. If you're new here, go back and watch all that I've shown. Last year I predicted the Broncos would win the Super Bowl based off of a Los Angeles freeway accident, a single car crash where supposedly the driver was ejected through their rear window and landed on top of a freeway sign. Completely fictitious story, major tribute to the rigged Broncos Super Bowl that was still, how many months away at the time? 4 or 5 months away. You learn gematria, you can see a lot. Until next time, True Seekers.